Wolfpack Nation. Hope everybody's doing well today. Again, hope everybody, first of all, had a happy new year and a great holidays. Again, we're actually here sitting before the holidays on December 30th, but again, this is going to air right after, so definitely want to go ahead and wish that to everybody. But before we get rolling here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Again, it's free to do, really helps support us and the channel. Also, make sure that you don't miss out on any of our new content. Give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. And also make sure to give this video likes. That way more people see it. And again, that YouTube algorithm, don't know what it is, but that's part of it. So obviously we got the famous Greg, the broken leg here, Haas here with us. So yeah, that's our nickname we decided for it in honor of Greg, the leg Zerline. But obviously, you know, you're not famous for Greg, the broken leg. So, hey, I mean, do you not like it? You're not really a fan of it?
No, I've been calling myself the broken leg the whole time. So,
okay.
If the walking boot fits, right?
Yeah, if the walking boot fits, that's good.
Oh, Greg, I love that.
Yeah.
He's probably been having a lot of puns. He's been trying to figure out the whole time.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have some cue cards that I'm reading off of, so just bear with me.
Hey, love it. Yes, Greg. Awesome, brother. Well, so, I mean, first of all, I mean, again, definitely appreciate you coming on here with us. I know that, I mean, there's been two specific times that we'll definitely talk about today where your name is taken off by storm. And, I've seen that you even, I think it was with WRAL or something like that. You actually did an interview with them as well, which was awesome to see. But, so, I mean, you know, for state fans, you know, don't know. I mean, obviously everybody has seen the picture of you, you know, on the gurney or whatever, you know, doing the Wolfpack signs, whatever. So kind of two things. First of all, I mean, obviously I need, you know, you to, you know, kind of give those state fans who haven't heard the story, kind of what happened, how everything went down. But also too, as a kind of side question that maybe you could answer as you're talking is, who were you doing the Wolf signs to? Was there somebody in particular? Or was it to the students up there and all that? So
yeah,
I want to kind of add that in there.
Yeah. So as I was getting put on the stretcher or the gurney, I saw one of our buddies that we tailgate with on some road games, Austin Diggs. Mm-hmm. We've tailgated with him up in Notre Dame and out at West Virginia, and so we saw him up in the stands, and I'm like, Austin, I need a picture of this. So I hammed it up a little bit, and he took the picture for me, and he ended up sending it to my wife while I was in the emergency room, and I said, "Oh yeah, we got to use it at some point." So yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So like when you jumped over, I mean, was it like this tension? I broke my leg and I'm in severe pain, but this is one of the greatest sporting moments I've had. So you're like this. It was like, what was it like?
Yeah, 100%. So just to back up a little bit, for the Clemson game, my dad had come up from both my parents had come up from South Carolina, and after that, my dad and so I didn't go to state. My dad didn't go to state, so this was like our college moment, right? So we looked at each other like, we got to go. So he goes rushing down. He actually did the jump for the Clemson game. He's like 59 years old, did the jump. And I saw it at that time. I was like, no way. And I went to the end zone and walked down the stairs. And so for the Carolina game, I was like, I'll jump. I mean, my dad did it. And then I was actually on FaceTime with him when I did it. And I landed, and I looked at him, and I'm looking like this in my phone. And I go, Dad, I think I broke my leg. And he goes, shut up. Shut up. You're fine. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I broke my leg. And then he's like, no, you're good. And next thing he sees the paramedics, he's like, I think you broke your leg. I'm like, no kidding. I'm trying to tell you that.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And have you broken your leg before, or did you just know?
No, I've never broken a bone until this point. I never had a stitch.
Wow.
I never had like anything. So
what a great story for your first one. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, the adrenaline, to go back earlier, the adrenaline was just pumping at that point. So I was like, I was fine. Mm-hmm. And then it really didn't set in until like I'm being wheeled off onto the ambulance, out the, I mean, I felt like I was a player. It was kind of crazy, right? 'Cause I'm getting pulled through the tunnel, on a gurney, and I'm just like taking it all in, going, this is my moment. So,
yeah. A lot more of a moment than you thought you were going to have, kind of thing.
Oh, for real.
So they wheeled you through like where the players go during halftime.
Yeah, exactly right.
The state players go during halftime. Okay.
Yep.
So, and have you ever been down there before, or was that literally your first time seeing there?
So I've never been in the tunnel before. We got invited out on the field like for the ECU game, when we had that makeup game, like when we lost a game.
2019.
2019. And so we went down at halftime to welcome the players back out on the field.
18.
And that's the only time I've ever kind of been in that area before. So that was
I gotcha.
kind of a neat experience for the first time, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. And that was 2018, by the way, the makeup game. Yeah. Because 2019 was the let's forget about a year. Yeah. No, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure that was a pretty fantastic moment for sure. But, you know, and hey, I mean, it's taken by storm. So I'm curious too, Greg. I mean, like, so from, you know, from your side, do you really, you know, when you kind of take a look at, you know, kind of how much that moment really is taking off, you know, like, I mean, it's spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
Do you kind of ever think to yourself, you know, like what is it about it that made it go so wildfire? I mean, like it's crazy, you know, I mean, it's just, you know, stay fan, you know, but I mean, I feel like that also for like, if you ask me, I would say that a lot of people know who you are generally, combined with the fact that like this guy just broke his leg, but yet he's smiling from ear to ear and he's doing the Wolfpack as he's carried off. Like it's hilarious at the same time too, you know?
Yeah. So I think kind of like the magnitude of it, right? So it was Carolina. I think that's part of it. And like you said, I think the photo really made it take off. Yeah, but I mean, I've through this whole thing, I've just tried to keep an even keel or an upbeat thought about it. I mean, no need to get, you know, all down on it. So I just, you know, living in the moment and you know, having fun with it.
I mean, when people talk back to that game, there'll be parts of it. They'll obviously say, yeah, that was the game, man, where we were a Mezzi. Like, we just came back way late and they had like a 99% chance to win. They blew it and we won. But then, oh yeah, and then you remember that guy broke his leg? You're going to be part of that story like a little bit. I'm probably for as long as people remember it.
I'm happy to be an asterisk footnote. So I'm okay with that.
That's awesome.
So what would you say though if Doran asked you if he could take your boot whenever you get out of it and put it in the Hall of Fame, you know, right there beside the Emeka catch?
I mean, I'd be all right with that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. And I just want to make sure. And then, you know, kind of jumping over to the other moment, which for me I think is more hilarious just because, first of all, it was the first time that I met you.
Yeah.
And then to see it, you know, and it was, so basically, again, I'm going to talk less about why I'm feeling it and talk about actually what it was.
Yeah.
So basically back in the College World Series, I think it was the first Vanderbilt game, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a strike call. I remember one inning. I'm sure you can probably tell me exactly what inning it was, but I mean, basically it was a strike call on us that was high.
It was
no
really
doubt
high.
about it. And it was really high, and ESPN got you on camera going, it was up to here. And then for those listening, basically Greg was pointing to like
it was over my head. I was actually over my head.
I
went over like over his head.
Yeah. And you were like pissed, and I loved it. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, so kind of walk us through that. I mean, like, when did your phone start blowing up?
Yeah. Well, so it actually blew up a couple games before that. Like the very first game against Stanford, I had a flag. I had a state flag, and it was a pretty empty crowd for the first game. So we were real low, right above actually Stanford's dugout. And when we had that big first inning, I had my flag and I was waving it, and then they just kept picking me up through the whole game. I mean, I think that game I was on like 5 or 6 times, and so that my phone started blowing up for that one. And then now fast forward to the Vanderbilt game, I did it's high. And then they're like, there you go again. You're on TV again. And like everyone's just like, you know, and everyone's tagging me on social media. Like my phone was just going off the whole time. In fact, Barstool even picked it up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was. So it was actually like all 3 Barstools, like Barstool State, Barstool, North Carolina, and then Big Barstool.
The national,
Yeah. And then Big Cat even tweeted it out saying, this is me after midnight on a Friday night, meaning like he was high.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of the start of it. Yeah. So it was pretty funny. And
I love it.
And then I was getting noticed all out in Omaha. I probably took my picture with like 25, 30 people. From other teams too. It was crazy. Like, hey, you're that guy on Barstool, and I'm like, yeah, that was me. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, because obviously one thing that stands out about you is you always love wearing the blow up, you know, wolf hat or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of ask, I mean, was that something that just
signature?
I mean, like, is there a story behind that, or is it just like you just got it and you're like, you know what, I really like this, you know, I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah. So I mean, I have so much state stuff, it's ridiculous. So I just saw it online one day and I was like, man, I got to get this. So I only pull it out for big games. I wore it in 15 at the tournament. I had it there. But yeah, I only usually bring it out because it's foam, and so it doesn't really hold up. And if there's crappy weather, I didn't want to, I don't want to destroy it. So, I had it all for the College World Series, and it was the funny story about that. I saw it sitting on my cabinet at my house, and I'd already packed, and I'm like, I should grab this anyway. And so like I stuffed it in my bag, was the last thing I threw in, and then it was kind of just took off from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm thinking about all the memories. Like, is there any like between like having those kind of moments, like when you recognize that you still like, is it you've kind of like obviously become a little bit of like a major fan. People know you. How is that fun to see happen, or is it kind of like, does it get old a little bit to a degree?
No, I mean, I honestly, I enjoy it. I enjoy making people laugh and having a good time. So like, if I can share a good moment with someone, or we can have a laugh, I'm all for it. So it doesn't bother me. We were out at the celebration last night, and people were coming up to me and they wanted to talk, and I was like, yeah, we'll talk. Like, everybody wants to know the story. So I mean, that's why I'm here tonight, right? So everybody wants to know, like, how did it happen?
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah, no, well, and again, it's, obviously it's, I mean, now that you remind me too, there actually was kind of 3 moments, but 2 that immediately come to mind for you. It's been quite a year for you for sure. I mean, to have big moments like that, but obviously, but the one thing which I did want to ask, so remind me, so when you went to the College World Series, weren't you one of the ones, because there was a couple people that told me this, said that, were you sticking around at the World Series until, if State ever did get eliminated?
Yeah, we stayed the whole time. Yeah, me and my dad and I, it was my dad, that was my Father's Day gift to him. What's cooler than baseball and State, for Father's Day. So we decided to go out, and we rode it all the way through until the end. Yeah.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout Eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. By the way, too, and I've already told my wife this, I've told my family this, and I'll tell everybody this that's listening, is that whenever State goes back to the World Series, which I mean, I'm sure it won't be that long, but or if you ever just get an itch, that I'm telling you right now that I know it's expensive, obviously, to fly to Omaha. It's an expensive trip, but it is totally worth it. It is an experience like no other. It is unreal. It's unreal environment. There's so much, just excitement in there, and it's a beautiful ballpark, and again, such great baseball to watch. I mean, literally, I bought tickets for all 3 games throughout the day or whatever for every day, and loved every minute of it. It was absolutely
I didn't get to go, but I just thinking, man, I would love to have gone to there.
No, I definitely recommend it. And the city embraces it so much too, man. They eat it up. I mean, all the little bars and restaurants, I mean, it's just a party atmosphere. And it's baseball, right? So like the fans, it's a different kind of fan, right, for baseball than it is like a basketball or a football. It's more of a little bit more laid back crowd. So it's just kind of a neater thing, and it's small, right? So it's big, but it's small. It only holds like, I think it holds like 15,000, I think, somewhere around there,
give or take.
Yeah. But it was fun. I would say if you ever want to go, don't go the first weekend, go midweek. If your team's not in, and you want to go after the first weekend. The hotels were much cheaper. It was easier to get around, less people, because I think 4 of the teams are limited after the first weekend. So that's definitely the best way to go if you want to just go.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, because everybody called NC State America's team this year at the College Series. Did you get that vibe being there?
Oh, 100%. Like,
talk about that.
100%. So especially after the second Vanderbilt, and then when we got eliminated because of the midnight, antics, I guess would be the best way to say, of the NCAA. The next day, it was like just walking around and just seeing all the state fans, and we were just like, downtrodden. But I mean, Mississippi State, they were fired up for us, telling, hey, we got a raw deal. And then I just told every Mississippi State, I mean, they were just so nice to us too. And because you think about it, we're the same school, just it's agricultural engineering, like it's the same thing, so we have so many ties there just naturally. But I just told the Mississippi State fans to go win it all. Just like, shut the stupid whistler up. Just go win it all. Like, because that dude got old.
Well, because the one thing too, which I'll remind you as well, and for those who don't remember either, so Arkansas lost to Nebraska in the regionals, and Nebraska was so close to actually beating Arkansas. And again, I remember. So basically, with us being in Nebraska, I mean, I can't even count how many Nebraska fans would come up to me and be like, oh, thank you guys for beating Arkansas. We can't stand Arkansas and all that jazz. And so, I mean, and also too, because I mean, a lot of people that I ran into that were like cheering for state and all that, I was like, because a lot of them were wearing state stuff. I'm like, you're a state fan? He's like, oh no, yeah, I'm a huge Nebraska fan.
Red and white.
But after y'all beat Arkansas, we're going to cheer for state all day.
Yeah, right.
So there was a lot of honorary quote unquote state fans there that weekend too.
And I have a lot of friends. I'm not friends. I have some previous coworkers that are from close to Starkville. So I knew some that were Mississippi State fans, and I was texting one of them during the game, and they were saying, man, like they felt it for us. Even the guy wasn't at the game, but I told him, I said, I think State and Mississippi State just became best friends, kind of like the Step Brothers. Seeing like, we just become best friends.
Did we have a moment? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, they totally get it. And when I heard, obviously, when we played at Mississippi State in football, there's a lot of excitement building up to them hosting us.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to show them a good time kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought that a lot.
Really cool.
I saw people posting that on Twitter. So Leighton, so you had your story. I have my Nebraska story about the College World Series. So,
go for it.
Yeah. So I flew out, I live in, DC. And my dad flew from Charleston, South Carolina. So my flight got in early, went to the hotel, checked us in. I went back to pick them up, and I had state flags. In fact, I don't know if you remember, but you actually put your business card on our car, and you didn't even know it. You put one of your Tuffy Talk cards on our vehicle when we had it parked on the side street. And then we ended up meeting you like an hour later right in front of the stadium. But so we had state flags and magnets on our car. And so I pulled up in front of the airport to pick my dad up. And as I'm pulling away from the curb, a police officer stops me. And he's like, hey, did you just stop? I was like, okay. So he's like, roll the window down. And he goes, hey, you guys are those boys from North Carolina, right? And we're like, yeah, that's us. He goes, go beat those guys. Like, go win it all.
Yes.
So I was like, yes, sir. I was like, yes, sir. Have a nice day, officer. I thought, man, I did something wrong.
Awesome.
I was standing too long or something. But yeah, he was cool. So yeah, no, you're right. They embraced us a lot out there.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I was walking around and I saw your car and I went, you know what? This looks like a car with guys in it that would love Tuffy Talk.
Yeah, man.
Look like some smart guys right here.
Yeah.
Smart guys right here.
Yeah.
Awesome. And one thing, too, which I wanted to kind of get, I've always wanted to kind of talk to somebody or talk to a fan, especially have them here on Tuffy Talk, of somebody kind of get like the fan's perspective from that second weekend. Because one of the things which I always said, and because I see this now with like the San Diego thing with the Holiday Bowl going, like I can't even imagine like seeing how many people flew out for the second weekend,
terrible,
just to show up and see, a great game, but definitely, it's kind of like, seeing like a boxer fight, but with a broken arm. It's like, okay, this is really cool, but I'm not getting, the full, effect, you know what I mean? So it's and then obviously then right after that to get told, 2 a.m. the next morning that you get eliminated. So, I mean, what was what was kind of going through your head, and like, kind of talk about it, a little bit from that fan's perspective, if you don't mind, Greg.
Yeah. So I will definitely say, especially when you're at these events, right. And, for the folks that went out to San Diego, there's not a lot of people that make the trip. Like I heard we had good attendance, but it's still not a large contingent, obviously not like at a home basketball or football game. And so you become a close-knit family within the event, right? So you'll see people out and about and you'll be like, hey, let's go have a beer or let's go have a meal or whatever. Complete strangers, like the people you've never met before. And so that kind of became the way at Omaha too. And I met so many people. I've met like honestly, I've probably gained. I mean, obviously, you, Leighton, I met you out there, and I've met so many people now that I call friends. Like, I even hosted a guy I met. He lives in Oregon, and he was at Omaha, and we just sat talking, and he was like, I told him we have a big tailgate, and he flew his whole family from Oregon for the Clemson game, and I hosted him in our tailgate. Wow. And so now we're like lifelong friends. I mean, hanging out with some of the players' families that I've met.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. So I mean, and then it wasn't even not even meeting the state fans. Like, we're going to probably go to the Texas Tech game here in a few years when we go out there, and I've already got a hookup for a tailgate, and they're talking about coming out here next year when we play them. And I was like, come on over to our tailgate. Like, so just the camaraderie between, fan bases is really awesome. So, but yeah, that was, I think that's the big takeaway. Like, we're still disappointed that we didn't win the whole thing, but I mean, I have so many memories. I mean, just so many awesome memories. And so that's,
you were still really a part of that historic moment, good or bad.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, and it's funny too, that was the first time I've ever seen state baseball in person. I was in the College World Series.
Really?
Yeah. So,
wow.
Well, because it's just so hard to get down here, because we're living in Northern Virginia, and the Doak only seats 3,000, so it's really hard to get tickets. I mean, you really have to know people or have season tickets. So, but I mean, we made so many contacts, and so now we were like, we got hookups if we ever want to come to a game, which we plan on coming to a couple of games or series this spring, once the leg heals up. So. But yeah, just, I mean, lifelong friendships is really my takeaway from that whole thing.
I love it. Yeah. No, it's definitely a special experience for sure. And I mean, because like I know, like for like one story too, that I don't know if we've actually talked about this in Tuffy Talk or not, but so Macon and I, so like this past year we went to the men's basketball tournament in Greensboro. But 2 years ago in 2019, basically Macon at the time was living in Virginia, and he was actually going to drive down the morning of the Thursday session, and he was going to come here, and we were going to go to all 4 games, whatever it is that day, and then he was going to stay at the house all night, and we were going to go. Well, so the day before was when everything went down with COVID.
That was the first game cancellation.
And then so literally that next day it was all canceled. So he ended up
Florida State got the trophy that year and all that.
So obviously it was a huge heartbreak. Right.
That's true.
Right. So
because the next game was going to be Duke.
That's right.
Right.
And I was like, oh man. And honestly, I thought we had a chance in that game.
Yeah,
I just remember feeling like this is like I actually like legitimately felt like we had a chance, and
it was a good chance.
Happen,
but basically, so obviously, at the time it was absolute heartbreak because I mean I was really looking forward to that moment. But like literally, like I actually still have those tickets sitting in my office. Like I have like a memorabilia area, and I have those tickets. I'm really going to hold on to those tickets.
That's a piece of history too,
for as long as I live. Yeah, that's a piece of history. That's
it's
something
untorn and everything, so it's just like a fresh.
It's like frozen in time. It's like frozen in time.
Yep.
Exactly. So kind of the same things, and I'm sure I probably have some memorabilia from the Omaha trip as well. But and I'm sure that even some state fans are going to have some memorabilia. Like I'm going to hold on to this, for this is a holiday bowl, which as a background, my uncle works for at NC State, and he was pissed off at the situation, so he let me have it, and so I'm really going to hold on to this again. And I'm sure San Diego people going to San Diego probably same situation as well, but definitely, unfortunately, they couldn't see some kind of football, flying all that way. So definitely, heart goes out to them for that. But so definitely make sure to again tune in with us for part 2. We're gonna have to take a stop here, but again, we'll definitely continue on here our conversation here with Greg, part 2. So make sure to check that out. But just a reminder again, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our new content whenever we release it. Give us a like so that way this video can get spread out to more NC State fans, and also to give us a follow Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram, and also to give our friend here Greg a follow as well on Twitter. It's Pack de Nova.
Pack Fan de Nova. Pack Fan de Nova.
Pack Fan de Nova. Okay. And give him a follow there, and share along with his all his stories and all his thoughts. So all right, guys. Well, hey, as always, go Pack, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
Go Pack.